So why even do embodiment as entrepreneurs? What does embodiment have to do with entrepreneurship? I truly believe that to build a sustainable business, energetically sustainable business, where you are supporting yourself and are joyful and can move through your days feeling supported and at ease. I truly believe that to do that, you have to be in deep connection with yourself and in deep connection with your body. And that in itself can be a challenge, because that's not something we learn. In the world we live in, we are constantly taught to disconnect from ourselves, and our culture teaches us that business is not personal, right? That it's not about emotions. You should detach from your emotions. And I just don't believe that. I think that's a bunch of BS. I think for us to really create something that we care about, there has to be emotions. We have to be connected to our joy. We have to be able to feel what excites us. We have to be able to feel not only the good things, but also when things, go wrong, like when something doesn't work out, when we're disappointed. We need to be able to feel those things to navigate our business in a way where we create and adjust so it fits us. And we definitely need some boundaries around disappointment, so we don't completely let ourselves be, overwhelmed by feelings of disappointment when something doesn't go the way we want it to, because that's going to happen. That's what business looks like. It's not always going to be, rosy, but staying in connection with your body, tending to yourself in terms of getting the rest you need, resourcing yourself, doing things that really makes you feel alive, makes you feel energetic and joyful, without any, I'm really not into the you need to rest to be able to be more productive, or you need to rest to be able to be more focused. I think that's very toxic and very it's toxic productivity focused. I mean, resourcing ourselves for the sake of wanting to feel better and feel more joyful and alive. And from that place, when we are more rested, when we are more resourced, when we are more supported, we are gonna create different things than when we're tired and burned out and unfocused. And this is the main reason that I believe that embodiment is key to creating a sustainable business, and a business that truly supports you and fits with who you are as a person and the life that you want to live. I think we need to start with ourselves. We need to start with our connection to ourselves. We need to start with how we're feeling, because if we're showing up in our business fearful, I see this a lot, right? People are scared of stepping into more visibility. People are scared of taking on responsibility. If you are collaborating with someone else, that's going to be a whole new responsibility. If you're creating a new program or a new offering that might be bigger than what you usually do, that's going to intimidate you. It's going to bring up fear. It's part of the journey of having your own business. And I wish we spoke more about this, normalized more how much of a personal journey it is to have a business, especially, in my opinion, when you're working with creatives and any sort of healing, coaching, support, because this is heart-led work. It's people who are, supporting and helping others create things, build things, birth things into the world. And it's so important to be in connection with ourselves. When we are well-resourced, when we are grounded into ourselves, we're going to create from a place of calm. We're going to completely ask different questions. If we are not in that state, if we are overwhelmed, if we are in survival mode, if our nervous system is dysregulated, we are going to create from a place of survival. The questions we ask ourselves are going to be less self-supportive. We're going to ask things like, why don't people buy my things? Or why is this not working? Or why do I suck at this? And this is a natural way of showing up when we're in survival mode, which for some of us, we can be most of the time if we are not aware of how we're feeling and how our connection with ourselves is. Because if we're carrying any sort of inner wound that we haven't started healing, or that isn't healed in a way where we can hold it gently. Let's say you're afraid and there is fear showing up. I'm not suggesting that you can only do business if you completely heal that fear and you don't feel any fear at all. I think most of us feel some sense of fear or resistance on a regular basis in our business, because as we build our business, we're going to expand all the time. Like, I really see the growth of our business and of us in our business as expanding and contracting. So that's what change is going to look like. And that expansion and contraction is scary if we are in survival mode constantly. And it's a lot easier to panic. And when we're in that panic survival mode, we're not going to see solutions. We're going to see limitations. We're going to see problems. We're going to see all the things that don't work. And we're going to see all the reasons why things wouldn't work out. And this is just how it is to be in survival mode. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing, I'm not judging that. I've certainly been in that mode plenty of times. Honestly, most of the time in my first business, because I didn't know anything about the nervous system or trauma responses. So for me, that was just my baseline. I didn't know that you could not be in survival mode. And I see this so often when women are either starting the business or pivoting or starting something like a new chapter, or in some sort of transition in their business, that there's a pattern of pushing through and of not listening to the body. And again, this is cultural. We learn, all of our conditioning is to override our body's needs and to not listen. So we have to practice. This is why I'm so passionate about embodiment, because practicing listening to ourselves, practicing being with ourselves, that is a profound practice. And it's also a practice that can really ground us, which means that if we are in a time of change or we have a challenge in front of us, if we are grounded, if we are calm, if we're standing still and don't have a lot of survival panic moving around in our mind, we're going to respond differently to that challenge in front of us. We're going to invite in different resources. We're going to ask different people. We're going to be more likely to lean into support. We're going to be more focused on finding real solutions rather than panicking about the problem. And this is my main reason for wanting to support others in integrating embodiment practices and embodiment tools into their business. Because if we're not aware of how these patterns influence our business can be a lot harder than it needs to be. And business is hard. Like, it's not, as most of you out there know, it's not like 1 2 3 and then you build a business. Like, it's going to take an effort. It's going to take, there's learning. It's a process. But if we're not tending to ourselves, then that can be much more of a fight with ourselves than it needs to be. So this leaning into self-connection, leaning into listening to the body, allowing ourselves to be supported in that, finding community that is approaching business in the same way, that can really shift the way we show up in our business, the way we approach challenges and changes and transformation. And yeah, I wish younger me had known about embodiment. I wish someone had told me that business doesn't have to be all mind-based, that it can be so integrated with the things that you are already passionate about in life. As I see it, business is also spiritual. Business is also passion. Business is also about connection. It's also relational. It's all the things that make life beautiful, and it's not just analytical and figuring out things from the mind. And I think bringing in the body, bringing in the wisdom that our body holds, and really honoring that, really tending to that as the core of our business, of our foundation, I think that can truly shift the flow of how we work and how we feel in our business. Those are my words for today around embodied entrepreneurship and about tending. I am going to come back soon and say more about this. But I'll end it here. If you feel like you want to continue this conversation and explore this more, I would be happy to see you on the free monthly calls we do every first Thursday. There's a free community call, and it is for women entrepreneurs. This means any sort of service-based healer, therapist, coach, artist, writer, teacher, facilitator, body worker. And in those calls, we're gonna talk about bringing the body into business, and you can ask questions and bring your challenges, and I will share my thoughts and my input from an embodiment perspective. Hope to see you there. There's a link in the bio if when I put this on Instagram, and if this is not on Instagram, there's a link somewhere else on this page. So thank you for watching, and see you soon.